What is good, y'all? It's your boy Deuce. This is the Dusse Dialogue, and today my guest is my boy Aiden. I heard that he's an avid Commanders fan, and for me, your boy over here is born and raised in a Chiefs household, so this could get pretty interesting.
And we'll have some good dialogue to go through.
Yeah. I mean, being born and raised in Northern Virginia, I've seen a lot of Commanders fans, see a lot of hail to the Redskins and stuff, but Commander's my fault.
Yeah,
I mean, Sean, you know, my boy, 21, rest his soul.
Yeah,
Like
Sean
Clem
Taylor.
Portis, Donovan McNabb. Y'all got a nice history over there. Chiefs, we had a 50-year drought. Ain't that right? Man, I mean, Super Bowl 4, 54, and 57. Pat Mahomes era, thank the Lord, but couldn't get done right with Alex Smith and Jamal Charles.
Yeah, I mean, if I'll be honest, I mean, Patty Mahomes, he's great, and he's always gonna be great. But as we've seen of late, he needs some help in that wide receiver.
You know what my issue with Pat Mahomes is he gets too comfortable. Like you can, especially with the Jets. I don't know what week it was, but 2 interceptions, lofted passes for what? You're scrambling out the pocket. Everybody's on alert.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you floating passes?
It's almost like he's throwing these things like the game's on the line.
With the Jets, though.
Exactly. Jets and
The Jets. You know who's also surprising me as a rookie? C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud. I don't know if you saw, but recently in the game they lost against Jacksonville, he threw like a 70-yard dime, and it didn't count too. I think it was to
Wasn't it? Yeah, Tank.
Tank Dell.
Yeah, I bet on him. Yeah. For y'all players out there for betting, Tank and Nico Collins. My boy, they are lucky I did not do fantasy this year.
Yeah.
'Cause I know a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
A lot of secrets out there.
I've been going against Nico Collins and Tank Dell in some of my league.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't pretty every time I do too.
Hey man, surprisingly he's doing way better than Bryce Young. I mean, he has what? Miles Sanders, and Adam Thielen, and then don't they have the tight end from Cincinnati that they had? He had Joe Burrow thrown in him.
Yeah, but I mean, speaking of Thielen, I think this most recent game, I know like on the fantasy team, he scored like 1.4. I think he caught like 1 pass for like I got a 4. Like he had a very, very slow game, and he started out strong this season. I noticed, but he's definitely trickled off a little bit. So,
What team has surprised you this far? As in like other teams that we've grown up watching, like Jacksonville, they're surprising me. Growing up watching them, I knew they were like not to root for, but now it's like kind of awkward seeing Jags fans. Same thing with the Browns.
I mean, what was it? The other night, I think, it was Sunday. The top seed in the AFC switched like 3 times because it was Jacksonville when they won,
right?
And then it switched to the Chiefs when they won, and then it switched to the Ravens when they won.
Yeah.
So now the Ravens are currently on top, but yeah, Jacksonville's been a surprise. But I'll tell you one thing, because I had never seen anything like this. Detroit, I mean, they're what?
Well, the way to bring up week 1.
Yeah.
Like, geez, let's start there. But yeah, go ahead, keep going.
I was about to say because they 9-2 now, 9-3.
I think they got spanked. No, they actually came back against the Packers, I think, but they lost they didn't convert.
Yeah, but it was the Lions on Thanksgiving, so there was only one outcome for that.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time the Lions won on Thanksgiving.
It's probably before I was born.
Most likely, I give it like 1982.
Yeah.
I give it that long.
Yeah, and see the thing is with them is, I remember when they first got to 9-2. Remember seeing Thielen? It was like the first time they were 9-2 since like the 1950s. I can't remember the exact date, but so yeah, those people in Detroit, they're definitely happy about that because I don't think them in Jacksonville, they've definitely been the teams that have surprised everybody. That's for sure. And also, C.J. Stroud, the Texans, because they had two good seasons last season, the past couple of years, but they've really they've got some promise with their QB at the helm.
Yeah. But how do you feel about your team, the Commanders?
Whole lot of mixed feelings. I know of one thing, I think we finally fixed our QB problem. I mean, Sam Howell, he's young. That's the thing. He's young. Is really, like, granted, he's played 1 game last season against Dallas, This is his first year in the league, and I don't know if he still is, but I know at one point he was first in the league for passing yards, passing attempts, and third for pass touchdowns. And he's also the most sacked QB this season. So it's one of those things where he's definitely kind of proved his worth to the team, and I think kind of find out that situation. But now that kind of fixed that QB situation we were going through, we got a whole other situation with the with the D. Jack Del Rio just got fired, and the whole question right now in the air is Ron Rivera and what to do with him. Old River Road Ron.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny how y'all just got our offensive coordinator. Y'all was looking good.
Biggie B.
Y'all was looking promising, mighty promising.
Well, we started the season out pretty strong, but we kind of trickled off, especially with that really big loss to Buffalo at home, the two close games with the Eagles. We had some heartbreakers this season, but I mean, we just can't really get it through. I don't know if it comes down to the D. I mean, mainly the defensive backs, because people are always talking about how you fired Jack Del Rio, but you just traded away your two your best defensive players.
I was just about to bring that up. I was like, what about Chase and Sweat, man?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I realized that it's our problem is with our defensive backs. I think we tried to fix that with Emmanuel Forbes over the draft, but I think he just still needs a little bit of development, especially after getting cooked by A.J. Brown. Not really matchup.
I mean, our defense is pretty suspect. What surprises me is McDuffie. McDuffie is statistically apparently the best safety, in the secondary out in the NFL. And it's so hard to believe because we give up so many deep passes. We just babysit them on the route, just walk with them and let them catch it, and then we make the tackle.
And then you make the tackle. There's no contesting of the actual pass itself.
Exactly. We got Bolton, Jones, Gay. We have people pursuing the ball, and then you just allow yards. It pisses me off so many times.
Yeah, that's the worst of it, because especially it's you see them there's no contesting of the actual pass itself. It's always let them pass and then tackle them. And I know there's that. I can imagine for the players it's easier said than done, because there's the fear of drawing a penalty and one of those things. Yeah, but I mean, you see people like Sauce Gardner on the Jets. I mean, he's in there. He's contesting those passes.
Apparently, he's gotten away with a lot last year. But to be honest, I know clearly it doesn't fucking matter. Oops, YouTube can't say it. I'll bleep that out. It's okay.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a mirror game, and I played football. I played wide receiver and corner. It's pretty easy. You just
Travis Hunter stuff, right?
Yeah. To be honest, it's not that hard. When you put your mind to it, and you really want to do it. It comes easy. I mean, of course, you're probably gonna spank me in the comments talking about Hey man, I signed D2 to play basketball. I can talk about basketball all day, but we're talking about football right now.
Yeah.
So when it comes to football and talking about wide receivers and getting handsy and stuff, he can't go anywhere without his hips. Look at his hips.
Yeah.
If you can't walk backwards or shuffle backwards, you need to get off the field, bro. Yeah. It's simple as that. And if you can't stick to your man and gotta sit back and play zone, you might as well just forfeit the game. You're gonna get yardage regardless, sinking in them holes, throwing it deep into angles, corner routes, probably up the seam.
Yeah.
Because the seam loves the cover 3 in the corners too. And when I'm getting him in the what's really OP is the zig routes.
Yeah.
It's like the nice fake little angle, zip out, get a nice 5-10 yards off rep.
Is it? I'm trying to think of someone I've seen do that so often. Is it Diggs who does that often, or is it? I've been watching a couple players do that zing and zig out.
I've seen a kid from Georgia. He actually pulled that off. Almost busted his ass though, but he actually got a smooth open lane in the end zone. And it was like that.
Yeah.
And the communication part on defense. Of course, the defense is going to be come with what do you call it? The outburst of the crowd and whatever.
Yeah.
But at some point, you got to know your schemes. You got to know situational stuff. If you don't actively think about situational stuff
and
outside of practice or whatever, even with watching film, you're probably the weakest link and you're hurting your team. Because if you're not on film and becoming better or just self-investing overall, besides like physical attributes and getting stronger, faster, whatever, how are you helping the team?
Yeah, and see, that's the thing you see with a lot of these defensive backs and other players in the league that, defensive players in the league that are doing well, is they have that, like, I don't want to say intuition, but they have that, like, sense where they're watching the quarterback and they know what this quarterback likes throwing to, they know these routes, and they'll intercept that pass. I mean, like, you got someone like, was it Aaron Bland on the Cowboys? I mean, it's almost like the quarterback's throwing to him. You know, because he's watching these things, like he's watching the quarterback, watching the runs. He's got that, like, he's trying to jump to the passes and not just tackle the receiver or something, or wherever it might be.
Exactly. One time back in high school, I remember, this was back when my mom used to make me bike to school, or it was when I played football for my high school freshman year. We had 2-a-days. John Champ transferred there and graduated somewhere else, but John Champ had to go to practice 2-a-days, ride and bike. Then it was my first day, just had helmets. Everybody had uppers on, shoulder pads and helmet. I just had just a helmet, bare naked, butt naked. He's like, get in the drill. We're doing cornerback drills, and this dude, Andrew Bushrod, he's big, jacked up, the whole entire Bushrod family tree's all jacked diesel. It's ridiculous. But he's back there playing safety. I'm over here playing corner, whatever. We end up both pursuing the ball. He cleans my ass out. I end up...
Bet you felt that the next day, too.
Oh, this went
Next
on.
week.
The next 15 minutes. I had a swollen knee. And what was the icing on the cake? I had to bike home. So that was a good character building moment because Marcus was with me. He's like my sandbox brother, Marcus. We had to bike home, and we did that every day for the summer until the season started.
And I can only imagine biking home after a brutal conditioning type practice, something like that.
Yeah, you can really move my patella and like fluid all up in that. Like if you took 2 syringes, you could fill them up and you'd be set.
Fill a Coke can with all that.
For real. It was that much. But I think it got down to like manageable after like 4 days. I couldn't do anything. And then the concussions came in. How do you feel about, defenseless receivers and, protecting the quarterback? How about those?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, the baby and the quarterback and all that.
Speaking of all that, I don't know if you saw a comparison, but as we know, there's like a minute-long highlight reel of like Josh Allen flopping after hits. But so there was that one hit against the Eagles game recently where it was called rough in the passer. It was definitely a flop. It was very questionable. But then literally later that night, I don't know if you saw this live, but I saw it live, and my mind was blown. When Justin Herbert ran, he ran the ball. I can't remember like specifics. He ran the ball for a first down, right to the corner, stepped probably a step and a half, 2 steps out of bounds, and gets laid out by one of the other players, no call. And oh my gosh, I about screamed.
Well, that was another situation that Pat Mahomes went through last year. I don't know if it was it in the Super Bowl? Yeah, he ran out of bounds. He's got that one step.
Yeah, I remember that because there was a big old tussle about that with everyone too.
Yeah, I mean, even with speaking of the Eagles, how do you feel about them getting away with calls against the Bills that last drive?
Okay, for everyone listening, you got to remember I'm a Commanders fan, so I've got a particular dislike to the Eagles team, but easily the most baby team in the NFL. I know that is that's a hot take, but
over the Dolphins, Chiefs.
Oh yeah. And okay, let me say this right now. Only full respect to Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelsey, DeAndre Swift, AJ Brown, all those players, amazing players. But leave it at that. Yeah.
Man.
Speaking of Eagles, last game, Bills, I would say that was probably the game of the season so far. Did you watch it live? No, sorry, not live, but what did you watch it?
I watched a little bit of it. I knew it went into overtime and they won, or went into overtime in a field goal, and then they kicked the field goal as in the Bills, and then Jalen Hurts ran it in as always.
That Jake Elliott field goal was crazy.
Did you see it?
It was rainy. It was
like, apparently it had enough to go further, but it was just right in the bottom right corner.
I didn't think it was going to be good, and it just barely slipped past. What was it? How long was it? Was it somewhere between the 55 and the 60?
It was like 59 yards.
Yeah, that was a crazy kick.
All I can say is my kicker's 100% from the season. So, ha ha, y'all can suck it. Y'all kickers can suck it. 'Cause, to be honest, I always thought I could have became a kicker, but your boy has scoliosis and is unflexible, so I can't even touch my toes.
Really? I can't either.
Well, I guess you got two tight bros talking about sports over here. Can't do much of it. Can't do much. But back to the topic of the Eagles, the touch push.
The touch push. What about it?
I think it should be banned, or like at least like regulated to like some certain extent. You got dang near 3 grown men back there shoving a quarterback through a whole line that's a wedge basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you this: it's that truth is it's not gonna be at any point like, well, sorry, I don't say any part, but it's not gonna be like regulated or anything along those lines. It's not gonna be taken out of the game until a big name quarterback gets hurt by it or a big name player gets hurt by it. Then the league will take a look at it. But as of right now, I think the league's and every other team is just gonna suffer from the tush push, the brotherly shove. Granted, I'll admit, we didn't stop it, but like it didn't work against us. So yeah. I'm holding that as a victory there.
That is a victory. Y'all got that over us. We just got Chris Jones and Frank Clark. Yeah. Wish we had Frank Clark. That's a distant memory. He's over at the Seahawks now. Went through the Broncos. How do you get released by the Broncos? That's sad.
The Broncos are making a little playoff push right now. Exactly. I think they're finally on that ride.
Broncos country. That's right.
That's right.
My boy Russell Wilson. I guess Sierra talked some sense into him, or he's on his future vibe or something.
Yeah, whatever they're doing all right. They kind of, I guess, looks like they finally found their mojo. Finally making a little push. I can't remember which seed they are, but I think they're like the second spot out of the wild card. I can't remember who's probably yet. Second card of the wild card as of this week. So they're definitely making a push for it, that's for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Never would have thought.
Yeah, I know. As I said, there's a lot of teams that you expect to do well, that are not doing well, and vice versa. I mean, you look at the Chargers. Free Justin Herbert, man.
What about Austin Eckler? What about him? Do you think his years are being wasted?
I mean, what he started this season a little injured. He played week 1, and then he was injured until I'm not sure a while. I can't remember what the injury was, but he was out. But all these people, you got Keenan Allen on there. You've got all these players, and I mean, hopefully history doesn't repeat itself because is it Phillip Rivers? Rivers, he never escaped that franchise. So let's hope Justin Herbert can at some point because he got that bag on the off season and.
But Justin, Phillip Rivers, out of all places, ended up in Indianapolis to end his career.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert at this point, see, when I watch football and when I make bets or stuff, it's so hard to have confidence in the quarterbacks making things happen. Or for some reason the stats and how the quarterbacks move when I see watch it live and stuff, it's just how. Justin Herbert, how can you have Keenan Allen and all that stuff, but not really throw it that much? Because my friend, he's an avid Chargers fan, and
that's a rare one.
He's from Baltimore, and that's what's the crazy part.
So Baltimore.
Yeah, all the way out there being a Chargers fan, but I guess it's about a history. Junior Seau, rest his soul, but I just think the Chargers. I don't know what's up with them at all.
Yeah. It's gonna take a lot because I mean they've been very underwhelming this season. They just can't get it together. I don't know if it's the coaching staff because I mean you have the talent you need on the team. I mean, as much as not every player is perfect. Like because Keenan Allen, he fumbled a couple balls against Baltimore. But like you've got all the pieces you need, it's not coming together. So you got to hope for them at some point they can get it through. Speaking of the Chargers, you see that that like for the while that that one woman that kept on appearing on like the big screen, but then there's like a theory that she's like a paid fan. You see that?
I saw the segment where she was explaining. She's like, "No, I'm real. I saw that. Yeah."
Yeah, because like people like swear they saw her in. Gosh, what was it? Was it a Vikings jersey a couple of years back? And
really?
Yeah.
I mean, people can change.
Yeah,
teams,
exactly.
But it's not weird to like be that animated about your team.
Yeah.
Like
you see some of these like outfits and these accessories some of these people bring to games.
Man, we went out in Arizona last year for week 1 versus of course, Cardinals, Arizona, the Chiefs. And the outfits and the amount of people that were there, I mean, even though Arizona is hot regardless, but the amount of people willing to tailgate and make the, this is like a long march because they have like this little development, a little neighborhood condominium right there across the stadium. They just make that walk. Wow. It's ridiculous. Nice. I mean, we made it. But then, I don't remember the rest of the night because your boy had a little bit too much fun with his mom's friends. Yeah, and she grew up with them, and I was just trying to.
Just say, all right, Garrett Wilson.
Well, let's just say I don't drink. I partake in other recreational activities, but I don't drink, and they had stuff that I wasn't hip to, and I just full sent it. And I had I ended up not having a shoe. I actually don't remember going up to the room where I told everyone, yeah, don't go in this room. I don't remember throwing up on their carpet.
You said this was after a Chiefs Arizona game?
Yeah, but this was like late night. We didn't really eat all day, and we've been drinking ever since we got there at 10:30. That's noon over on the East Coast. So that far, yeah. So we've been basically drinking all day, and I'm not used to that. And then around I say 7:30, 8 o'clock, I just. Off the server.
Offline, logging off.
Yeah, I don't drink for a couple of reasons, but I'll occasionally and socially drink. But at that occasion, I had to show out.
Yeah,
I had to. It was only right to show out with my mom. Yeah.
Make an impression.
Of course, I gotta let them know that my mama ain't raised a bitch. What?
Bleep. Yeah, bleep that on too.
Yeah, you got a lot of editing to do there, son.
I gotta read the TOS, Terms of Service.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking to my buddies about this the other day. What's your? We were talking about what we think the people's Super Bowl is, like the ideal Super Bowl.
With the teams right now. That's hard. Cause there's a lot of bias everywhere. Cause I'm not the one to see the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Look what they did with the Rams.
Yeah, Burrow's out for the season.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you saw, but yeah. So it was his wrist. I saw a video of the game of him trying to throw on the sideline. When quarterbacks throw, they keep their hand up because they got all the structure. He threw it.
Yeah.
Nothing keeping that hand up. Yeah.
It just fell out my boy's hand.
Lip noodle, and I was like, you're going for a while. So rest in peace, him and Jamar Chase fantasy owners.
Yeah, as a fan, love to see it. I'm like, yes, don't have to worry about him. But as a person and as a human, that sucks. That to me, that looks like you're that in the equivalent to like throwing your arm out in the MLB,
Oh, yeah.
like in the baseball league.
It's literally like it's your wrist. That's what you throw it.
It's
Your
like
arm
the
and
base of your throwing, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So we just gotta hope for recovery for him, just as a professional respect. I mean, speaking of injuries, this season has been awful for injuries for big names. I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers literally like a couple minutes in his start.
Yeah.
You've got so many big. You had Eckler at the start of the season. Justin Jefferson just got taken off injury reserve today. Joe Burrow. I'm sure I'm missing so many people. Nick Chubb. I mean, like awful season in regard to injuries on big names. And I mean, I know there's a push to take out turf on the fields because it just seems like that's what's causing these people to have these like lower body injuries and stuff.
Yeah, and my boy, what's his face? Even though I hate the Dolphins, number 15, what's his last name? Phillips or something? He just busted his whole calf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. It was just like Kevin Durant, just
Burn off, yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I could never. Thankfully, I only got a couple concussions. I got like, you remember? I think we was out in Maryland. What was it? New 24, and I was playing with Bedlam, and we was spanking them, and it was coming down to the end. We was full court pressing them, and then I was standing behind the defender. My boy took 2 swings, 1, 2, connected with my nose. Had to go off the court, and then I had to plug my nose. For some reason, I had bad luck with my nose.
Always what got injured?
Yeah, nothing. I've been playing with 6 to 8 folks ever since the 5th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Thanks to my mentor, Coach Gary Collins. Holla at your boy. But it's crazy how I just out of everything and besides my finger, I only mess up my nose.
Yeah.
I've only had concussions just from driving down the lane like a nobody and just flopping and crap. But
trying to pull a flag. So
don't even get me with flopping in the NBA. Oh no, the mic's dead. Uh-oh. Go ahead. Alright, just to switch it up a little bit, the reason why I created this or started this podcast was to basically bridge the gap between generations, per se, kind of, because I know and I see a lot of gaps on, not in a bad way, but on we do different things on different aspects in life, like different ways how to love and different ways to like save money, how we look at the job, the workforce and all that stuff. So I just wanted to, I'm going to try to have different people on this podcast too, older, younger, people in different generations.
Yeah.
Just trying to, because how I see and how I was taught at my HBCU, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about Howard, Hampton, I don't care about none of y'all. I went to UMES, hear me, holla at your boy, Eastern Shore, 45 minutes from OC, But they taught me that the reason or the purpose of life is to grow.
Yeah.
And how can we grow? Basically learning from each other.
Learn from others.
How can we learn from each other?
Yeah.
Having uncomfortable conversations, whether it's like in a good way or bad way, because regardless, we're learning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I started this podcast. Do you have anything, especially in this generation with love and whatever, do you have anything on your mind that irks your soul or wish that things were changed in a certain way?
There's one thing I've noticed a lot lately, and that's some people's, because you actually hit around on the money when you mentioned it, I kind of ran on a couple topics. People are so scared to accept and to talk to people that have different views from them. If there seems to be such a big polarization with views and how if you're, I don't want to get too deep into the whole politics of it, but just as an example, if you're like left-wing people, like, okay, they subscribe to all those views on the left side, or right, all the views on the right side, and they don't look at the big picture, and they don't look at, like, if let's say you had a different view than I do, I don't look at your view as why do you have that view. I look at that view as it's not mine. So I disagree with you, and there's no discussions about that, about those views and those uncomfortable topics. And
Right.
I really do think if people are willing to sit down and talk to the other side, and you don't need to convince each other, but just be willing to talk about these things, it's going to solve so much animosity, and not just like our communities, but our country, our world. I really just do think there's been a, kind of a loss of discussion and debate, because debate doesn't always have to be like an argument.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be. When people have a debate, that's just a very aggressive conversation of a disagreement in ideas.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's not no, animosity towards you as a character. It's not no hate towards you.
Exactly.
In your, what you and your family, what you stand for. It's no hate towards any of that. It's just simply challenging your ideas. And I think this is an immature way to think of it, but this is how I think of it. When we were kids, when kids nowadays, what do they always say when they get to a certain age, when they always talk? They say, why?
Yeah, why?
Why?
They ask why.
We always play that why game. And I think we should at least not shun our kids, or at least not tell our kids to shut up or not keep saying why, because saying or asking why is a good way to find out and understand the whole entire situation. Because for me as a human, what I ask and expect from a person is to at least understand me. I could care less if you hate me, wish the worst for me, or whatever, but as long as you understand me, that's all I care about.
Yeah, and you're right. There needs to be that that questioning of why certain people believe certain things, because then in turn you will better understand that point of view, and it's going to allow a lot more just communication between people. And like I said, it's like it is no charge against your character or who you are, who you're raised. It's just a questioning of those beliefs or why something is the way it is, and then we get a deeper look at whatever that topic might be. We're able to look into these things a lot more. But yeah, kind of to round back, that's my big thing with at least just my generation growing up. I wouldn't say growing up, but more just like us when we kind of hit that teenage, adolescence, is that there's just no acceptance of the other side. It's complete one against the other. You're either A or you're B. There's no in between. And I just wish there was a little bit more just debate and talk, and just talking with other people about it, because if no one talks, no one with each other, no one understands each other, and then we just grow more and more apart. So that's definitely something that I've realized. I mean, but if what about you? You looking at my generation. So I'm 20. I'm pretty very young. I've got so much more to live. But you looking down at these younger generations and what you see happening, what do you think? What would you change on how my generation acts?
I'm only 24, about to be 25 in the spring, but these younger kids, when it comes to certain things like love and the whole cancel culture, I think that's the reason why people are afraid to have conversations, because they feel like they might say the wrong thing or hurt someone's feelings. Bro, to me, fuck your feelings. The objective is what I'm trying to say to you is the point. My idea is the point. Regardless of how you feel about how I say it, how it comes across, the message is the important part. And if you're too in your feelings to understand the message, then you need to go back home and look into the mirror and look at yourself and build your character up, because you can't have any grown-up conversations if you can't get over a type of how somebody came at you a certain way. It's like how I see it, and what I was actually taught in one of my classes, the medium is the message. How things are said shows the severity of the situation. You think if somebody came at me a certain way and is like, bro, why you steal my clock or whatever, I don't know, wristwatch. He was like, you came at me like that? I was like, because I wanted to. Now if somebody came up to me, grabbed my shirt and shook me, I was like, why you take my watch? That's the medium is him violently shaking me and yelling. That's showing how severe the situation is. He really wants his wristwatch, give it back. So that's how I feel. It's like sometimes people are afraid to like hurt people's feelings, or people don't even try to hurt people's feelings. They just are like, cautious of it. Or
Yeah.
I think people might be too cautious of people's feelings.
They definitely are.
I think that's an issue.
Yeah, they're so scared to, and it's kind of like we just talked about, people are so scared to talk about touchy subjects and have the discussions because you're going to hurt feelings. You're going to make someone uncomfortable. When it's going to be uncomfortable to talk about those things, and yeah, like you were saying with like cancel culture and stuff like that, people are so scared to speak their opinions because they're afraid that, you know, their social status is going to, you know, plummet because of it. And because of that, we have like a suppression of ideas and thoughts. And I completely understand that, you know, some people are just bad people and say and do, you know, really bad things. But it also encompasses like those people that just might have a belief that is seen in today's society as, you know, something that is bad. Like, just like, you know, you get a lot of people who are like, oh, they might have a more, let's just say, conservative view on gun control or something.
Right.
And they think that if they just express that opinion, they're going to get completely canceled for it. Or something along those lines. And
Well, it's on that old piece of paper anyway, so y'all tried.
yeah.
Too bad.
Exactly. And that's the thing, there's people are just so scared to speak their mind and express their right of free speech. And I think that's something that is definitely not good for, I guess, our society as a whole.
Well, for me personally, I don't care when it comes to things like what you said, when it comes to social,
Like social status?
yeah, people are scared to like say things. Bro, why would Beyonce care what you had for breakfast? Like, y'all are all in Drake's comments and all of that talking about, y'all think, you really think what you say in their comments really affects their day?
Yeah.
Y'all are wasting time and energy. Yeah, you can follow them, maybe find something out, learn from them. That's the reason why I follow certain people, is to learn from them. What do you gain from following Drake? Oh, new music. Okay, what do you gain from that? Happiness. Okay, you got that for a good 35 minutes when you play that on repeat. Now what? You gotta go to your 9 to 5. You gonna be in the car listening to that joint though. Good for you, I guess.
Yeah. People are so concerned with their image, like online and all these different things, and it takes away from their own life.
Exactly. Like, I'm over here 24 looking like I'm 19, 20 years old because I don't pay attention to
Stress about that stuff.
Exactly, because it has no effect on me. Why worry about something that has no effect on me in my day-to-day life?
Yeah. And yeah, like, and again, it's also, you can just think about it, like, who cares what other people say? Because at the end of the day, it's your own life. Like, you're the only person looking through your eyes, living your own life right now. And it's like, who cares about what other people think? Who cares about all these social things? Go live, go do stuff. You know, it's such a stressful thing just to focus so much on, you know, media and social status and all these different things. Like, I feel like it's just kind of taken over a lot of our, like, you know, a lot of our youth and stuff like that. Speaking of like going like online stuff, I don't know about you, but how old were you when you got your first phone? And like, let's just say phone is in like...
I was probably in the 3rd grade. It looked like some iPhone looking mother truck. I don't know what it was, but it was some Android thing.
Yeah, was it like an iPod or was it like a whole...
Oh, I didn't get my first iPod until high school.
Yeah, and see, what I'm saying is like, I don't know. This is crazy to me because for me it was so like, I had to wait so long to get like a phone. Like I had like a flip phone in middle school to like call my grandmother when I was walking from like school to her house after school day. But like I work at just like a recreation facility part-time, and I was a bunch of these kids came up to the front desk and were just talking with me, and I was just kind of humoring them. I was like, oh, like Christmas is coming up, what do you guys want for Christmas? And they were going like iPhone 14s, 15s. I'm like, oh my God, you're like 7. What you need an iPhone 15 for?
Go touch grass, want a bike, want
Yeah,
a motorized scooter. Like when I was in middle school, Actually, the reason why I have these scars on my hand is because my mom allowed me to have a little pocket bike. She used to ride, so I was like, yeah, let me get one just like you. Now I bust my ass and got scars and stuff. But I still want a bike to this day.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, my girlfriend won't let me. She won't let me get one.
I want a bike too.
What kind of bike? I want a Ruckus though. I want a Honda Ruckus just to go to the shop. Just give me a little something from 7-Eleven, just a little motorized little moped.
See, I'm gonna get into this because I just came off of this this. I really want to start riding, and it's gonna take a little bit because I didn't realize how expensive it was to get started because you need you gotta dress for the slide, not the ride, all these different things. But I mean, to be honest, starting out, I'd probably get something just like a Ninja, something like that, something small, something that's gonna, just something used, not something crazy until I get more into it. But I mean, yeah, there was like a 2-week period where I was in a craze about it. I was like, gosh, I want to ride so bad. But that was also like before it got cold. It was nice outside. It was sunny, and for some reason there was just I would pass by 20 people riding every day. It was so fun.
Well, back to the topics of being scared of saying on social media or whatever. I was just talking to my girlfriend about this in the car. That I was thinking that this would be a good topic to bring up, or just a nice statement to say. But this is how I feel. I think for a long time, ever since technology has improved, racism has been dead. There's no ever since the technology has boomed and we had ways to improve our intellectual capacity and whatnot and learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Racism is dead. Y'all are just ignorant to learning. Y'all are just ignorant to being better humans.
Yeah.
There's there might be racist statements or whatever that might come off as racist, but at this point you're being ignorant. And that's how I see it and how I feel. So, you were about to sneeze, weren't you?
Oh, it was just a little cough.
Oh, okay. You can cough, it's not bad. As long as it's not a roll now.
Don't worry. But I agree. I feel like it's very, and I don't do a lot of looking into this stuff because I personally am not on a lot of social media, so I'm not aware of current events and stuff like that going on. But I do agree with that. I feel like it's dead, it's not really there. And there's gonna be that that redneck in backwater Alabama that still's clinging on. Yeah. But I'm in the sense of like you were saying, just every day, it's not there. And I'll also think a lot of time people try to find it too.
Yeah.
They try to push for it and they try to find it and they bring it up so often, and that kind of that topic really just gets brought up in small things. And I really do agree with you that though, because that's a really good point, that it's not in the it's not like we're still in the times where you've got all this segregation and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's really not. It's pretty much completely out the window these days.
You have to really try hard to be racist at this point. Everybody who is in our generation, at least from my view, is raised right.
Yeah.
I haven't. Of course, we have little boys or whatever in middle school making racist remarks or whatever.
Well, Fortnite and Call of Duty.
Exactly.
You'll never get past that.
Exactly, but I don't really see that, especially up in North. I don't really see the racism really much. I caught a little bit in Boston, but that's just Boston. I mean, I like the Celtics, but the city folk y'all can go somewhere.
Gosh, don't even start with Boston.
Patriot fans.
Bruins fans.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I also, a view that I have is it can't be something that you talk about or think about, because then you're giving it life. I have a view of people where we're people. There's in my eyes, there's no such thing as race. We're people. You're a person. Everyone here is a person, and everyone is different in their own ways. And that's what's great, is that you can take those differences of other people and embrace them and learn from them and learn about other people's lives and their culture, but we're still all people. Mm-hmm. And I really do think the more you talk about that issue and the more you give it life, the more it's gonna be, it's gonna get bigger. So I do think that that's something you really need to do, is you need to see people as just people, simply as that. And everyone has their differences, everyone has their cultures, everyone has their beliefs, but at the end of the day, we're just people. And so yeah, I think those two things of kind of seeing that and just accepting the fact that, that we all kind of, you can learn from everyone you meet and all these different things, is something that is going to be really, it's just really important in general.
Alright, well y'all heard it first. Well, people are just people, and racism is dead, so.
Racism's dead.
As you see, racism's dead. Saw that. I saw that. I'll catch you on the next episode of the Dusse Dialogue. Holla at ya, boy.